Okay, hey everybody, John here, obviously. Sorry, clap warning. I just went like that. Um, and I want to respond to a little bit of pushback that I got on my last video. Now, I'm going to explain what I said that got me pushback, and then I'll talk about the pushback. I have said, at least in the couple of last videos, that the rage, and it is rage, of the Black Lives Matter / Antifa protests, and let's just call them that to be polite about it, that rage is real and legitimate. Now, to clarify, I don't mean that the viewpoint that there is a all-encompassing white supremacy, racist, we hate black people and let's crush them under our boot heels. That's not real. That part of the black awareness, let's call it, is false. That's a false narrative. But the rage in response to that perception is absolutely real. And a lot of people have pointed out that, if you look at the statistics of how many people get killed per capita in their ethnic populations, that more white people are killed by cops than black people, and therefore, the outrage from the black community, the Black Lives Matter murderous and unquenchable rage is stupid, and these people should just grow up and stop whining because your grievance isn't actually legitimate. Yeah, some people get killed, but it's not like this overwhelming, systematic, white supremacist, racist, secret, everybody's actually secret Klansmen. And, there's conservatives who I would normally call, intelligent, who are then taking these statistics and throwing them in the face of people on the side of Black Lives Matter and saying, look, you're dumb, shut up, the numbers don't support your viewpoint, so just quit your crying and go home back to your mommy. And that's a problem. I mean, it's a problem especially from people who are under normal circumstances, intelligent. And the reason is we're quite a long way past the point of where we can have a conversation where this can be talked about without an unquenchable murderous rage overtaking the conversation and it just devolving to violence, as you can see in so many American cities, and in fact in some Canadian cities too. And the reason for that rage isn't that there's a white supremacist, white Klan, Ku Klux Klan, Nazi-esque, all white against all black conspiracy. That's not the reason. The reason is that there's a narrative of that. That all whites are racist, all whites are evil, they embody evil, that nothing good has ever come except for black people. That narrative is a very popular and promoted narrative, and it comes from what I would call the elite and the intelligentsia of Western, not just Western in the sense of geographical, but Western in the sense of cultural society, the academics, the politicians, the so-called intellectual elite. They firmly believe in this idea of that all of the negative outcomes, if you look at, say, income distribution, blacks are poorer on average than whites are in the West. They earn less. They live at a lower level of economic prosperity. They have a higher crime rate. They go to jail more. They get killed more in street-level crime. And the narrative, the promoted popular viewpoint that comes from the universities, that comes from intellectual elites, that's promoted in Hollywood, that's promoted on the news, that's promoted in magazines, that is promoted by your government and mine, is that the reasons for this are not complex. The reasons have nothing to do with the subcultures within communities. They have nothing to do with the choices or the lack of education or there is an idea within some black communities that acting in a way that leads to success, that is, staying with your education, pursuing a career that, leads to a high-paying job, taking responsibility for yourself, not acting in a impulsive and irresponsible way, that's like a betrayal of your blackness and you're acting white, and therefore it's to be punished and scorned, whereas acting like a ridiculous ding-dong and making decisions that completely derail your life, that's being true to yourself. That's what keeping it real, right? That's not getting talked about. Instead, we have this narrative where all white people are evil, all black people are noble and virtuous, and they're goddamn heroic just to be able to stay alive. Like, it's so hard that, it's because you're so oppressed from every direction, and even if you can't see it, you're being oppressed. The simple fact that you even have white neighbors oppresses you. This takes all the complexity of life and all the need for you to understand complex human interactions and what motivates people, things that are incentives and things that are disincentives. Forget about all that. You don't have to develop yourself. You don't have to understand everything. We reduce it down to this one single dimension. It's white racism against blacks. And it's so simple, you don't have to understand anything. And it makes you feel good because you've got this one answer that answers everything. So you feel like you've got a handle on reality. Also, you get to be heroic just for being angry. So you get to indulge your most base, negative, counterproductive, antisocial impulses, and those are now transformed into virtues. So indulge your darkest, most destructive impulses, and those are virtues, and you're heroic, and you're not responsible for anything that goes wrong in your life. And then the white, liberal, elite, intellectual, media, celebrity culture promoting this, they get to feel like they're white saviors. They get to feel like, I'm better than all my other friends. I'm better than everybody else because I can see that we're evil, and I'm going to say it, therefore I'm not evil, but everybody else is. And these guys are victims, and I also get to keep them being victims because then I get to keep being a noble white savior. Now, the result of all of this is that you have people who've been fed this narrative their whole life by the so-called elite. It comes from the media, it comes from your government, it comes from the educational system, it comes from the political left, which is basically the preeminent political ideology now. And you have a class of people who are possessed now of what they feel is a completely justified and unquenchable murderous rage. And they don't want an end to inequality, they want to kill you. They want an end to your existence as a white person, right? Because they've completely bought into the idea that whiteness is itself evil. Now, a lot of people pointing out, well, this is explicitly racist. They say they're anti-racist. They're racist. Okay, yeah, that's true, but that's not the point. That's not a problem-solving approach. All that does is, oh, look at me, I can see something. Good on me. I can see slightly more abstract than the guy who posted this extremely racist Black Lives Matter pamphlet. Well, congratulations to you. Are you helping solve the problem, or are you throwing it in their face to make them more angry? The anger is a problem. That's why I got so mad at Justin Trudeau the other day, because he went out and took the knee. He went out and kneeled down in the middle of a Black Lives Matter Antifa protest. What he was doing was saying, your unquenchable murderous rage is valid and you should follow it. And what's going to happen, this isn't going to blow over. This isn't just going to be we had some protests and then things are going to go back to normal. No. What's going to happen, because the media and the corporate world is feeding it, continuing to reinforce it. Like, they're not going, okay, everybody calm down. They're going, you're right, be murderous, be full of rage. And as long as that feedback loop continues, the rage is going to build. It doesn't matter if it's not actually justified by the facts. That doesn't matter at all. The rage is there, and it's being escalated. So where's that going to go? Well, there's a picture of a woman that's been circulating online. It's at a Black Lives Matter protest, and I would say, although the rhetoric is extreme, it typifies the attitude. And she's holding a sign that says, "We did it in Haiti in 1804. That was just round one. We got you. You're next," basically. I'll put that on the screen while I'm talking about this. Well, in 1804 in Haiti, there was a a colony. It was a French colony, I believe, and there was slaves. And the slaves had an uprising, and they went house to house and murdered every single French colonist. They murdered all the families. They murdered everybody. They went, knocked in the doors. They kicked the doors in. And they raped all the women and murdered them. They raped all the children and murdered them. They killed all the men. They probably raped some of them too. They were possessed of an unquenchable, apoplectic, murderous rage, and they followed that to its limit and killed everybody. And look at the result in Haiti. I mean, like, you think of Haiti, extreme destitute poverty and human suffering. They gave up on the thing that elevates people out of poverty. And of course, there's obviously corporate exploitation and stuff, but that's the murderous rage that is possessing the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's being fueled by our pandering celebrities and corporations and news and political leaders. And where it leads is to a violent societal upheaval that's going to have 100 million people dead. And it's not going to be like the black people are going to sweep it and take over and then they'll have a black paradise. No, there's going to be 100 million dead and there'll be every color. You'll be in that pile and so will they. There's a giant pile of corpses coming. So understand, this isn't going to blow over. And every single media celebrity who then turns around and goes, I'm with you, Black Lives Matter, I'm on your side, you're right. What they're saying is the complexities of society, the produce differential outcomes, the differences in culture, the denigration within the black communities, within many black communities, the degradation and the disdain for life choices that lead to success, that you're acting white, you're acting like the whitey, instead of being true to being black, that produces negative outcomes. There is a social and a financial motivation in many American Democrat-run states and cities where there is a financial incentive to divide the family, to kick the father out of the family, because then you get welfare and social support through your government. Well, that destroys families, which means that the children of those families are on the path to negative outcomes because the mothers get financially incentivized to kick the father out of the house. Well, why do you think that the black community is so destitute and so filled with crime? It's not because blacks are inherently stupid and incompetent. It's because the motivations, the incentives, incentivize a path to destruction. And of course, the Democratic Party kind of likes this because it keeps a dependent voter base who depends on financial payout as a supply of votes. But it's a hustle. But you should be angry not at this imaginary one-dimensional white conspiracy to hold down all black people. That's reducing the complexities of the world down to a single dimension. Be angry at the pandering, desperately cowardly and craven virtue signalers who are basically saying, your murderous rage is right, so you should do more of that. Because where this is leading us is to an event in history that's coming, and there's going to be 100 million people dead. Prepare yourself. Organize your friends. Plan your exit. You need to have your friends around you. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and as always, have a lovely, lovely day.